What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including: did WWE hate Danhausen's debut? Demolition going into the Hall of Fame? WWE confiscated a strange sign? Is WWE happy with the Masked Man angle? A major angle at WrestleMania? Did you notice Randy Orton broke character? A huge face turn planned, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at: did WWE regret signing Danhausen? Danhausen made his long-anticipated debut for WWE after leaving AEW this year. In the weeks leading up to the event, WWE built a mystery crate storyline on both Raw and SmackDown, hinting something big would be revealed at the pay-per-view. But when the crate was finally opened at the United Center in Chicago, the audience was greeted not by a major returning star, but by a big debut of Danhausen finally debuting in WWE. Whilst there was an initial pop, the enthusiasm quickly faded into confusion and negative reactions from the live crowd, with many fans booing the reveal. Whilst it was reported that many backstage in WWE were split on bringing Danhausen in WWE, reports from The Observer noted that people backstage were already making comparisons of his debut to the Gobbledygooker, as the Gooker was a turkey mascot character introduced at the Survivor Series in 1990 after weeks of teasing of what could be in the large egg. And fans were heavily disappointed when it turned out to be the Gobbledygooker. It was reported it was a Gobbledygooker. They finally managed to do another Gobbledygooker. Now, despite mixed reactions to his debut, many fans still like Danhausen's unique persona and feel that he could add a lot of comedic elements to WWE. But one wrestler has defended the debut. Now, the first wrestler to speak out was legendary wrestler Ricky Morton, who had this to say via X: "I see a lot of professional wrestlers dissing the success of their peers. If you haven't worked hard, dedicate your time to your career, put some effort in the gym and go get them. Opportunities will present themselves. Congratulations, Danhausen." Now, the most notable name to support these comments from Morton was WWE legend AJ Styles, as he quote tweeted the post in total agreement. Now, the backlash to Danhausen debuting definitely seems to be isolated to WWE crowds in the online space, as he has a fantastic reputation amongst the majority of his peers. Some have theorized that CM Punk may have had a hand in signing Danhausen to WWE. It's no secret that the two are close personal friends, and Punk has a ton of influence in WWE, so it makes a lot of sense. Next up, intergender match at WrestleMania. Speaking of WWE's new character known as Danhausen, he's been called out for a match at WrestleMania 42. A post on X questioned who Danhausen should face at the biggest show of the year, and Chelsea Green responded calling out Danhausen for a match. Naturally, Danhausen responded in the most comedic way possible, and it appears that he is indeed interested in taking the first ever women's US champion. Green is currently out of action with an injury, and it remains unclear if she will be cleared in time for WrestleMania in 7 weeks' time. With that being said, Green vs Danhausen would be a bold and unique match for WWE to book, and the fan response to the idea is, well, surprisingly positive. Next up, Demolition are going into the WWE Hall of Fame. WWE has finally announced that the iconic tag team Demolition of Axe and Smash will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026. The news was personally delivered by The Undertaker via video chat. I guess Taker really has a new role in WWE. This has definitely been a long time coming, as both WWE and Demolition for years have been in legal battles over the rights to the characters. But finally, they've now made amends, and Demolition have their rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. Next up, WWE going all in on Trick Williams. Trick Williams is receiving the push of a lifetime in WWE right now. As fans have pointed out on X this past weekend, he's main evented every single show since he was called up. This is an incredibly strong presentation for the former NXT champion, and it's been a long time since WWE committed to a main roster call-up in this way. There are rumors that Williams is set for a showdown versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 42, and there's a strong chance that Williams is one of the key contenders for the Money in the Bank briefcase this September. Next up, WWE strangely confiscated this sign. WWE reportedly took away a fan sign at Elimination Chamber show this past weekend. The fan was holding up a sign advocating for the women to main event the show. The fan of Old Man Sweater took to Instagram to state, "I brought this sign to Elimination Chamber last night. Shortly after it was seen on camera at the beginning of the broadcast, it was confiscated by WWE. Broken down to its most base level, all my sign says is what order I'd like to see the matches in. But by confiscating my sign, WWE proved they knew what I was really saying. Taking a sign doesn't erase just how underutilized the women's roster is, just how much the company refuses to put them in the spotlight, despite the talent, despite the desire. They didn't want people to see my sign and think about just how long it's been since women have been the main event. It's just so embarrassing for WWE that someone saw this glittery hand-painted sign and was afraid. So anyway, I hope whoever made the decision can never find a matching sock ever again." It's usually custom for WWE to remove any offensive signs, but this was completely harmless, so it's unclear why WWE removed it. Now, the last time women main evented a WWE PLE was at Evolution 2025, since it was an all-women's PLE. Next up, Rhea Ripley accused. Now, the WrestleMania feud between Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill is heating up. The two went back and forth on X last night, with Cargill accusing Ripley of spending hours talking to WWE creative team. This of course implies that Ripley is keen to play backstage politics. Rhea Ripley even replied saying, "You're funny, that's funny. Now we know you really do be talking out of your ass because everything you say is bullshit. Don't spread lies on my name, you dumb b." Now at least this feud is off to a red hot start, and hopefully the two women can bring this intensity to television. Next up, a WWE star buries Unreal. Now another week, another instance of a notable WWE name burying the Netflix series WWE Unreal. The latest name to do this is former world champion Damian Priest, and Priest didn't exactly hold back when it came to his thoughts on the divisive series. While speaking to the Sal Licata show, Priest stated, "No, I bet there's still always going to be a little old school with me. Look, we've already seen the rabbit out of the hat. Like, we get it, but I just think overly doing it, like we're not making movies. There's a difference when you see the behind the scenes of how a movie was made, because that actor or performers in that movie are already playing a different role by the time that comes out. We're still us. I'm still Damian Priest. I just think it takes away a little of the lore, you know, because since we are these characters all year round, I don't know. I feel like I lose a little bit of that." A Priest would add that whilst he completely understands why the show exists, he ultimately isn't a fan and would rather keep kayfabe intact. This has become a hot talking point on social media today, as fans have stated that not a single wrestler has anything positive to say about the series, and it begs the question what the actual point of the series is. Season 2 exposed WWE creative for being utterly incompetent, so outside of the series making WWE a little extra revenue, it's not doing a whole lot of good. Despite the criticism of the series, Unreal Season 3 has been commissioned and is currently being filmed. Next up, a WWE ring announcer called out. A wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer has called out WWE ring announcer Mark Nash. Nash during the Elimination Chamber PLE made a number of mistakes, including calling Javon Evans Javon Williams and calling WrestleMania 42 WrestleMania 22, but he went in on Nash for these mistakes, and he admitted he simply doesn't like him.
This Mark Nash, I don't know what it is about him, but I genuinely just see him and I just don't like him. I wasn't mad about messing up a name, everyone does that, but there's something about his ring announcing that's like, it's not like it's the end of the world. It doesn't, man. And I've never disliked a ring announcer, and maybe he should be like a heel ring announcer like Jim Cornette or something. I don't know, man.
And Nash is still relatively new to the announcing role, so hopefully he gradually comes into his own, and let's at least cut him a bit of slack. Ring announcing is not an easy job, especially when you're in front of thousands of people live, as well as millions watching at home. Next up, a major angle at WrestleMania 42. Now as things stand, the WWE title match for WrestleMania 42 is Drew McIntyre vs Randy Orton. However, this is likely to change in the coming weeks, as Cody Rhodes has a WWE title match on SmackDown this week, and there's also the X Factor of Jacob Fatu. The majority of fans believe that WWE are now building towards a fatal four-way, but it's entirely possible that WWE delivers a big twist and we end up with Orton vs Rhodes on the grand stage. Interestingly, one WWE name is pushing for this idea, as this is what WWE correspondent Sam Roberts had to say via his podcast. "I think if it were up to me, I'd end night 1 of WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes retaining the WWE Championship against Randy Orton." Roberts would then add he believes WrestleMania Night 1 should close with the Rhodes heel turn. Cody turning heel at WrestleMania, I think that's where I go. Cody returned at WrestleMania 38 as the biggest babyface in the world, and it took him all the way to 39 to 40 to 41. 4 years of this massive babyface run that's as effective as anything has ever been. I think WWE getting a shot in the arm like, whoa, foundationally things have changed. And here's Cody's motivation as a heel if this is the way you go. It's, you need me to be the champion, you need me to be quarterback 1. You can't have Randy Orton as a 15-time champion. Now, this will certainly be a shocking angle, but it's not without its risks, as Rhodes has been cemented as a face of WWE for a number of years. Whilst it would indeed freshen up Rhodes' character, WWE may be concerned that they may miss out on merchandise sales if they turn the American Nightmare heel. Next up, did you notice Randy Orton broke character at Elimination Chamber? Now, Randy Orton broke character probably a number of times at Elimination Chamber, but you may not have noticed this one. When LA Knight botched his top rope elbow drop, he instead just kicked him in the chest and jumped up and just did an elbow drop. But Randy Orton just couldn't hold it in and was seen laughing after the spot had been done. It's quite funny because he was right in front of his daughter. Next up, is WWE happy with the Masked Man angle? Well, the Masked Man has finally been revealed to be Seth Rollins. This angle has been one of the more criticized angles in recent memory, but according to a new report via Body Slam, WWE is happy with the angle and Seth Rollins personally handpicked the decoy Masked Man. Last Friday on SmackDown, The Vision unmasked a man before Logan Paul qualified for the Elimination Chamber match. The masked man was revealed to be indie wrestler Dom Furio. Sources indicate to Body Slam that Seth Rollins personally handpicked Furio to be part of the masked man's story. Furio was a student at Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, which is run by Rollins and Marek Brave. WWE is said to be very happy with the way the angle played out despite all of the different injuries and obstacles that popped up. WWE is reportedly hopeful they can deliver Rollins vs Breakker on the grand stage of Mania. Whilst it appears that Rollins has received the all clear, there are a ton of question marks surrounding Breakker. The latest word on his status was that he was rehabbing like crazy to be ready in time for a match versus Rollins. It was widely reported yesterday that they have official backup if Breakker vs Rollins isn't going to go ahead at Mania. The backup is reportedly Rollins vs Logan Paul. Again, this might be a good match, but they already had a match at WrestleMania 39 and people would really prefer if he faced Braun Breakker. And finally, a huge face turn planned. Our final story today looks at a potential face turn for Finn Balor. At the end of his acclaimed world title match versus CM Punk, Balor and Punk shook hands, and this has led to speculation that they're going full steam ahead when it comes to Balor's face turn. We now have an official report on the matter, as according to the Wrestling Observer Radio, this is now going to lead to Balor finally taking on Dominic Mysterio. Well, he did do the handshake, and there was no JD and Dom, and he never called for them. So that's the story. The story is that he's going to be, I think they're finally going to get him and Dom. You know, I mean, he and Dom were scheduled for SummerSlam. I mean, that's where the match was first scheduled to happen. I think that they just dragged it out because Judgment Day was doing so well. And I would add that the fact that Balor wrestled without any interference is another huge indicator that the face turn is going ahead. But lately, you know, Finn's been certainly building towards being a babyface. He did those babyface promos leading into this match. You know, I have to win it on my own, and all that, which I thought was just going to be one of those things where they come and interfere later in the match. There are rumors that Balor's going to bring back his celebrated Demon Persona at WrestleMania 42. The Demon Persona was initially set to return at SummerSlam for a match versus Mysterio, but they would pivot and go in a completely different direction. But there you have it, folks. Our look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.